So I got like the profiles. I just want to talk about the idea, like where it come from pretty much. I didn't actually trade either the breakout bit, the early morning bit, or the pullback. Mainly because I couldn't really pinpoint where the clear structure for the breakpoint was. So this is the bund, and then I have the bobble here, and I've got shaps on a weekly basically, which I was saying this level up here was your key point, 18.5 was up here for me. So I was really leaning on that, and if I look across, these are the hourlies what we've had recently, and again this is picturing this all together, is you've had the 2-year hold quite high, and then obviously you've had bund come off a bit. So like the 2-10 spread, obviously this isn't much. The 2 years much stronger than the longer end. So trying to combine these together to try and find out when you get this slight break move that you've had back up here, you know, in the longer end. So when the longer end is going to catch up a little bit and play this sort of idea. But for me, I struggled to find out where the cleanest point to get involved was. Well, I wanted to sort of play the shats really, but it's not really my market. So when looking at it, and I think when you can look at left to right or then start building it backwards, and I think this is another like key point, is when this day at 7 o'clock open drives, gap, you had a gap up. So if we go this backwards, you had, I can't remember what day this was now, Monday, is that right? Or Friday, sorry. Friday. So the payrolls day, you got that move up. So you had the little auction below, move higher. Mondays then come off, and then basically auction this zone out here. So I think the test down is the important part for then you to then get this move the next day, where you've had the gap up, and then I think if you're understanding all that together, maybe these highs here are quite key as well. You look to get long maybe from the 7 o'clock if you get open drive. Your access for your size as well, and that's something where I'm trying to think about where you can access that, because I find that a little bit harder. And then you've got this like these few days range here. If you combine them together, you can definitely get like a sweep through. So you're combining all of these days going backwards, and mainly like these 3 days here, and you're adding in sort of these ones as well. And when you're looking at what the other markets are doing, so I think the bobble maybe it's tighter. It's going to move a little bit less, but you still got a good move out of it. Basically the same structure auctioning out this zone. Pretty nice little tapered tail there. You know, the gap up as well. Straight through these levels, and I think the pullback in that into the bobble auction was probably your best bet of buying. You know, you had minimal risk on that as well for sort of like 15 to 20 tick move back higher. So that was your other key move that I thought, which I'll go through that again in a moment. But just trying to go backwards, and I'm still trying to figure it out now how, you know, if we just go to the minute chart, which one is this? It's like bund straight away. So you from 7 o'clock, which was here, we just went straight up, and how you find your access in that area, it's not the most clean, it's not the most like straightforward structure, but you had the gap up. I think maybe you can have a go after 7 o'clock, but I still can't really pinpoint where the best part to get involved with the size is for me. I felt like buying sort of this pullback, which in the bubble is much better, selling off into the auction to 10.30, and then you got the move back higher, which I thought was the second trade. But going back when you're trying to think, this is your main move, where you want to have the size on, not necessarily that second trade. Trying to understand how you play this, I think maybe you just have a go straight off the bat. Maybe it's not. Maybe it was just a hard one to access, and there is not really a clear point of size, because really, where are you wrong on it? Again, 7 o'clock could have sold off. How far do you let it go? You have to just factor all these sort of questions in as well. But the idea generation, I think that sometimes when you have great idea, but your access is difficult. The trade works out, but your access was a lot harder than what you thought it was going to be. I think that's sort of the factor that I'm sort of coming into. Fact is that it wasn't so straightforward, or you play the continuation on this pullback, or if you're early enough, maybe in this zone in here, pulls back and then continues. And this is what you had over of all of them. So that was just Schatz, Bobble and Bund I just put up, so we've got a whole picture. I was talking about here in the bubble buying down here, you got a decent move back to the high. You ended up trading the levels that I did want it to trade at the end of the day. But buying the dip, you'll see with the footprint in a moment. So that was the Bund footprint where you're getting this lot absorption down a lot lower. But if we go to, sorry, this is the up move. Very basically, I think there's an 80 tick move, about a 10 tick pullback. I think I worked this out. This one here, I think I might have moved this, yeah, 08s. Yeah, so you can see from 08s, it's just no volume overnight and it's just straight lined. It doesn't give you the easiest point to try and get involved in. I guess maybe if you're playing in this area or this area if you're early enough, if you've got this real clear idea ready. But the pullback in the bubble, I've got these in red boxes. The first part of the pullback here you've had, and then you've had into the auction, you've had like 43,500 in that, sell off from that into the auction. And then 10:30 comes, and that's when you've already bid it up a little bit. So your risk was really tiny. You could have got, if you really want to be tight, you could literally add a 2 tick risk if you could literally get, I think it was 02s it was. And then you get that extension move back up to 34s, which again, your targets I had 16s and 18s. So the 2 tick risk really for like a 20 tick winner nearly on that front. But I felt like that was a good area to get involved, and I was just a little bit worried that the auction could actually squeeze down a little bit more below here and then get the trade. I didn't want to start over trading this part because I missed the first original best structure. So that's really what I wanted to say, really. There's a couple, even though the market I find it seems quiet, you still have opportunity in like a couple of markets, like the oil and the gold. They're moving. They don't really get super tight, but the Bund's been having a point range from non-farm to, I think, yesterday. It's still moving a lot. Maybe, like you say, you've only really got, say, like a couple trades here that are a bit more patient. You've got to be more patient. It's not moving as much, but you still got the ranges. There might just be less opportunity on that. And I think, like, with the idea that we've had from this structure, it's like it's like an A, it's a good move. You've been patient for all this time and you want to be on this, and I just don't think access was great. The volume's also not amazing, so then you're trying to play with momentum, it's not really there. But you just want to try and find the right access. Maybe it was just playing the break of these highs, being blunt with it. Okay, 2 highs, go trade it through it. All your components adding up for it anyway. But that's what I wanted to have a look at for today. Hopefully also get some BOJ sources review as well, getting some of that, because just trying to get hold of the video to do that, as my screen wasn't recording at that time, unfortunately, which afterwards was quite annoying because I really wanted to watch that back. But I got the recording for BOJ in the evening as well, which we can talk through. So hopefully next week or the week after I'll have that sorted and have a debrief of that as a good opportunity on the sources if he was there. But yeah, that'll be it for me today. Just want to have a little conversation on what I thought here. Just building back. Also, always good when you see a good move, I feel, to just work from right to left. Obviously use hindsight, but work right to left and build what you want to see the next day for then something like that, because that's probably the best move out of all of these that we've had so far.